How are you?
I'm
You good?
right,
I was awake. Good.
That's alright. Didn't we just meet the other day? So now we doing
Legit,
a
and now we're
podcast,
sitting
man.
here doing a podcast. Like
Amazing.
it's amazing how things work. But like I said earlier, like you get sometimes people that comes into your life like 2 weeks ago, and they have more impact on your life than people that were in your life 10 years, 20 years,
Yo.
which is amazing. And I've experienced that before, especially in business. They say strangers are the ones that actually supports you the most. So you really need to appreciate that. And I'm currently experiencing that, I have a very good support structure with my family, but there's a hell of a lot of strangers that supports me, and I'm just so grateful,
How did you stay awake to like
Coffee.
awake to the stranger that may help you? Because you get a lot of bad strangers.
Correct. My tattoo over here. So I really believe in energies, and I can sense sometimes really when there's a bad energy or omen or just that negative space. I can sense it when it's in my life. I don't know how, but it's like a gut feeling, and I always believe that there should always be a balance. You can never always just be happy. You're gonna have to be sad some days to appreciate being happy, But yeah, welcome. What's up, Cape Town? This is episode 1. This is Uncooked with Anwar Arensa and Matthew. You're gonna have to get to know us better. Like you said now earlier, we met last week and now we're doing a podcast.
True.
So Uncooked, what is Uncooked? Uncooked is where we are going to grill, no pun intended, some of the most impactful, some of the most interesting and intriguing people around the world. I'm not just gonna be around Mitchell's Plain, because we big thinkers, So around the world, and tonight is just the icebreaker. So you're gonna get to know us a bit better. This is our hero moment, I would say.
Hero moment. You also mentioned it earlier. Where does that come from? Hero moment.
I would say a hero moment is your time to shine, and for them that's watching to really understand who they are listening to, So for instance, you, who are you? Matthew, welcome to the Wood Kitchen's audience, bro. Who are you, and where do you come from,
Oh yeah, I'm a neighbor. It feels like I'm a neighbor. I was driving with my brother down here, and we grew up just down the road in Portland's, kind of opposite Rocklands High. So in some ways, I feel like we were sort of situated on the corner of Portland's, Westridge, and Rocklands. So in some ways, I feel like I'm from all three of those places in Mitchell's Plain.
Best of both worlds, basically.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm a neighbor. That's where I grew up. But anyway, how we connect is through. I was introduced to you as a videographer and editor, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm enjoying it compared to my sales job I had a couple of years back.
You like the sales job?
No. I was there for a year and I couldn't.
A year.
I lasted a year actually. Man. And I left after a year and I felt tired because I didn't list to wake up every day to do what I don't list to do. And that led me to what I'm up to now. And I'm enjoying it. It's tough. I'm not successful or not, but I'm successful in little ways, like learning.
That's making you much more happier, I suppose.
True.
I remember when I was in my sales job, my first ever sales job, I had to sell 7-day holiday accommodations, and we were doing cold calls, and you had to at least make 2 sales a day, and if you didn't, by the end of the week they evaluate you, and if you have this pattern of not making sales for a whole month, and they let you go, and that was sales. And I thought I was really good at sales, but it's stressful, eh? What were you selling?
Coke. Coca-Cola.
Oh.
Nah,
okay.
not
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So yeah, and don't really drink Coke as much. Also, like I've been
That
trying
had
to
be
cut
hard though,
off
ne?
of sugar.
Like
It's like I had to
selling
act in
something
some
that-
ways.
Ah.
I was an actor for a year
So were you working directly for
for
Coke?
Penbev.
Pinbev,
Yeah,
and you had to promote the Coke brand itself.
the Coke. Yeah, we had to sell Coke into. Well, the position was account developer. I
Mhm.
think we had to build relationships with the different stores that stock. You know, I don't even list to say their name now.
No, you don't
The
have
brand.
To. you don't. You
It's
don't
almost
have to
like I
name drop
fell
it.
out of love with the brand since I've been there. But someone, a mutual friend of my brother's, mentioned to us the other day that he reckons going to work with the purpose of like going to a corporate job is to actually just get what's going on and figure out how, learn, I guess. So like me being transformed into a business person, I guess. I kind of, even though I didn't like it, still being involved there business-wise, getting to talk to different managers, it's useful, I guess. I may seem ungrateful to
It
those.
built
Like,
character.
I agree.
And I can actually add to that. Like with me, for instance, sakes, I really always ask God, like, why was I in that position? But I now truly understand, like, customer service is like a important part to the business that I have, and sales. So, I worked for a lot of companies, bro, before I actually now really started with my business. But all of their companies and what I learned really added value to my characteristics as a leader right now, and I can really put all of their colors together and implement it in my business, you know. So now I understand why I was where I was, you know. So you're right, it really builds character, you know. What was one of the most challenging things, or like in sales, like something that really pissed you off, like that you were not happy with?
I enjoyed dealing with the customers. I think it was more internal politics.
Oh no.
Maybe it's a similar situation, like it's a similar experience as the regular South African trying to vote for somebody. The politics in having to decide on who to vote for. That's what it felt like in some ways.
In that environment.
Yeah, different managers, they'd have different management styles. It's like they weren't actually all working for one company. There's like, they each have their own, it's not an agenda, I guess it's a target.
A
You
target.
would call it a
I'm
target.
sure the company itself had their values, but
Yeah.
with each manager
It
that came through,
dissipates,
it
yeah.
dissipates and it changed, and
You
that's
don't really
what
see it.
kinda-
And then you go through like inductions, but doesn't.
Look, but
follow
you're
through.
not alone, because one of the reasons why employee turnover is so high at a lot of companies is because of direct management. It's
Okay.
because people are not happy with the environment that they are in, or management itself, and that's the reason why they leave. They love the company, they love the people that they work with, but because management is so shit, that's why they leave, and they can't take it, you know. But like, kudos to you, bro. Like for business and taking that step. Like, you now a freelancer,
Yeah.
and how's it now to be an entrepreneur and a freelancer? Like you said, it's a wavy game.
Yeah.
But
Wavy, especially where money is concerned, it's not as available as if you were doing a full-time job. So like you get paid
You
every
know, you're
month.
secured
Yeah,
at
there's
the end of the
something to
month.
budget with. So you kind of had to adapt your budget to your workflow as a freelancer. You don't have a regular client base, so that flow isn't there. But I'm seeing that as like I can picture if there were to be a regular client base or a regular client list that I keep in touch with.
How long is it now, by the way?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So you have a lot of content out there already.
It's true. There's some stuff out on my social media platforms.
If you could, like, how does our viewers get hold of that content?
It's the Thehoodshed.
The
So
Thehoodshed. Here we
THE
go.
and HOOD SHED. The Thehoodshed. There's mostly photos and video. But yeah, I'm glad that we connected. Even the name as
Wood
was now
Kitchen,
the
Woodshed.
Wood Kitchen.
So-
the wood.
So with the content itself, like what do you want to specialize in? Like weddings, like 21st, or is it like a bigger thing that you want to specialize in, you personally?
I guess it started out as shooting because I'm a musician myself. I was in a lot of rehearsal rooms and
Ladies, take
no,
it
no,
easy.
rehearsal
I know,
rooms
he's
is
a
where you
musician.
practice. And there in rehearsals, sometimes more happens at a rehearsal than on stage, and that led me to want to capture that. So I want to do more behind the scenes kind of imagery, even if it's
Well, tell me more about that though. Like that's new to me.
like music. Sometimes, say at a rehearsal, you may go over a set list, whatever you planned, but while you're setting up, maybe the drummer starts playing something.
The in betweens.
Trying to sound check just to
Okay.
hear what something sounds like. Then the bassist follows his lead, and everybody else starts to work around their sound and what they want it to sound like. But they're jamming something or they want to play something, and a lot of the times that's not planned. So they're just coming up with something.
I really believe in that though. Like storytelling is my thing. That's when we had a conversation earlier about like rap and hip hop, and what intrigues me most about it's like the storytelling to it. And I believe if there's a story involved or like shown, you as the viewer, you feel more connected to it. There's a more relatability to it, you know. So that is dope.
Yeah.
So as a what clients should be actually looking out for you, like
Any business doing things, man. I'm seeing how the HR department of companies can use us even, I'm thinking, because if we're documenting behind the scenes operations or whatever we're documenting, there's some element of the staff being involved in the company's vision forward. If we're recording that to highlight certain things, and the staff is the live, like they not actors, but they're living out, they're there to work, it's their life. So if we're filming them, we filming live action in some ways, and they're living out what the company wants from their staff. So I think that whole process includes them in the company's vision as a whole. So then I think that, like you mentioned, staff
the culture.
retention,
Yeah.
to maybe help with
That's
retaining your staff
That's
involved.
actually what I wanted to say. Like the minute you start involving your staff and they feel appreciated, right, then you are going to retain them. You're really going to keep them around for much longer, because yes, I know there's a lot of people out there that goes to work to just go to work and earn that money, but then again there's a lot of people that goes to work but want to add more value, you know, and want to add more value to their company. So
and make your own story interesting. I
so
guess you don't want it to
that
be
that
boring.
is super dope, like to actually have that content, because I can imagine Coca-Cola, as big as they are, sorry now for name dropping, but Coca-Cola, for as big as they are, you documenting and capturing their staff behind the scenes, how operations are going, and having a camera pointed to the guy that's operating the line with the Coke, and how's your day, and I can really see that. And for him to actually see himself on a TV ad or like anywhere in the news, that is super
And
dope.
they love it when we're filming there and we communicating with the people working. They enjoy that something's happening here. The company's up to something. What they're up to, they're interacting.
Yeah, sorry for breaking your word, but there's a lot of it's prom season. My niece is Puta, I need a Ferrari.
Yeah, for what?
For the prom. But prom season is coming up, matric ball season is coming up, and it's of course wedding season, because spring is around the corner. Like, is that also something that you see yourself doing?
I would love to, but without sometimes doing wedding shoots and the kind of shoots those kind of regular shoots, the 21st goer, what is their names? The person going to the 21st.
21 Forever.
No.
Oh,
Anybody?
Isn't that the artist? Oh.
21 Forever.
No, it's 21 Savage. That's the artist's name. But anyway, sorry.
They expect a similar looking theme for, like, they're expecting something they've seen, man.
Oh,
And that's a
okay.
bit- maybe it's we as a video, if we're offering video, that's probably what we should be offering, what the customer wants.
Of course,
But
because the
sometimes-
customer's always right. Do you believe in that?
Not
No?
always,
Not
actually.
right.
Do you believe that as a
No.
the customer is usefully right sometimes?
Yes,
I don't know.
usually, but not all the time. Like even here, sorry now for going in a totally wrong direction.
Don't
Like
say sorry,
even
man.
sorry, but even here, when a customer has a dispute and they are really trying to be right in the situation, I try and come to a logical point. This is what happened. This is the outcome, and this is what we can do. That's
That's
it.
reality, yeah. Give him the truth.
Why do you wanna now scale? Why do you wanna now go overboard? You know? That's what it is. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Lost my
What
train
was
of
my
thought.
question?
So he's now going to ask me a question because I lost my train of thought. As you guys know, because my mind is so busy, so I love it. He's feeding off me. So yeah, go ahead.
Maybe a bit. Can you maybe speak a bit about this podcast?
This podcast. Yeah, of course. So what I'd like to achieve, or what we'd like to achieve rather, is having that person sit in that hot seat and grilling them, getting to know who they truly are. And that brings us to our very first episode, right? We'll release the name quite soon, build some hype to it. But I want this to be impactful, informative, and I want this to maybe change your life. I want you to be inspired, you know? This was always one of our main goals as the Hood Kitchen, is to build a big enough platform and to promote a local business, artist, or a community leader to the world. Because there's so much negative things happening, right, in our community on the Cape Flats that gets highlighted.
Mm.
And it's shameful, but there's 1,000 negative things happening, yes, that needs to get highlighted because we need to speak about it, right? Because it's hurting us directly. But there's over 20,000 positive things happening that doesn't get highlighted.
That's true.
I'm sure we know why it's happening. Negative runs up numbers. It's clickbait, right? But why can't the positive things that what people are actually really doing in the communities, why can't that also be broadcasted? And that's what we want from this podcast. We want the world to know that we have people here in South Africa, right? That's really doing work. So yeah, that's
I like that. I hope you keep doing it. You must keep,
of course.
make it consistent so that there's always like a dialogue about current things, but from this kind of perspective.
Because like even here, like I don't need to put up false props. Like I don't need to put a million things here to catch your eye. This is it. It's raw content, you know. Like come the 2024 elections. Like I want to vote for the right people. So it's high time we really speak about the social issues, you know, that could possibly potentially change our lives. Because as a business, I'm really struggling. And it's not because of my business or because of how I'm running my business, but it's because of how these people's running this country. Because load shedding, firstly, bro, load shedding is hurtful, you know. And there's so many other things that's a social problem. What's up? The kettle. You can't take the kettle, man. You can't take it. No, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew my dad was gonna come out. Shout out to you, Dad. Andre. Love you, man. I know. I knew that was gonna happen. Right? But yeah, that's what we want, and it brings us to our first episode. So it's no surprise. Our very first guest is Neil the Beer. The beer. My dyslexia kicking in. Sometimes my mind works so fast. It comes out wrong. It's right, but it comes out wrong.
Rappers regarded as right. You just write your mistake down.
So
Might be
he's
something.
he's in the top 5, I would say, of my all-time rappers. I'm kidding. of the politicians that I'm actually going to vote for come 2024.
Maybe one day we have a rapper president. How would that be? Like a president who Just
who just
you
spits
expect
bars.
a press conference, but then he starts to rap.
Rap. Or like a debate is a rap battle.
Oh,
That'll
yeah.
be, that will be hectic, eh?
That will be interesting.
So yeah, Neil, he's a very inspirational guy, and I really can't wait to get him on. I feel like it's gonna be a very good episode, and I feel like South Africa and the world is gonna get to see the naked side of him. You know, they're gonna. I wanna grill him in a way where he opens up and he shows us who the true person, who Neil is really, because I think it's in the Japanese culture. They have this thing where they say each person has three sides to them, right? As the side that they show to the world, as the side that they show to their family and their friends, and it's the side that they actually only show to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like you can relate, because I can relate to that. I'm not the same. Sometimes I'm not the same person I am to my family, to the world. But I feel like the world don't deserve that. You know, because of evil eye and all of that blah 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 nonsense, you know. But then again, who I am with myself, I'm with no one else, maybe just my wife, you know, because yeah, that's very important. But who I am with myself, you know, I don't think the world really deserves that right now, you know, because of evil eye again.
Evil eye.
And evil eye,
You
yeah,
can
evil eye.
elaborate. Is there time to elaborate?
I hope so. It's ask the manager. Manager.
You the manager.
So I feel like evil eye is like you put out stuff, like we're putting out this podcast now. This is really dope, guys. Like this is wow. South Africa, I hope you see what we are doing here. You put this out, and then people's like, fuck, we doing this, or we were going to do that, and then they sig on you, and it brings us to energies. You know, energies. It's so real, because you feel it, and because they're like, may it fail, may it fail, may it fail. Fuck you. Sorry for my language, but like fuck you. Like put God first. You know. And then that evil eye will not prosper. But it's true. It blocks your blessings. It maybe doesn't block the whole goal, but it prevents you from moving forward. You know, because it's so powerful. Now, where evil eye really comes into play, is my opinion, is when you in your circle, and that person's in your circle already, but they have that evil eye. Now they have that energy attachment already to you, and then that feeds off you, and it feeds into you. So it blocks you from, you know, doing certain things.
Like
Yeah,
what's that creature that sucks blood?
A tokolosi. No.
In the like dams and stuff. Not eels.
A leech.
Leech. Yeah,
A
did
lychee.
you say leech?
A lychee. Lychee is actually one of my favorite drinks. Not
Flavor, lychee.
Flavor, lychee. Yeah, I love lychee. And I can make some great dishes with lychee. Like it's so amazing.
Oh, that's interesting.
But yeah.
You don't get that often.
But this is UnCooked, and this is what we'd like to achieve. And we are also going to have Matthew on, hopefully, God willing. And he's also going to be grilling a few people, and we're going to get to know him better. And he's someone that can bring something to life, I believe.
Yo, ahoy, thank you. Thank you for the invite.